Okay, before I get to this vignette, I want to, on this curves layer, if we look at this and just watch this area, these darken up a little bit. And always remember, you've got control, right? So painting in here with black to remove the effects, to hide the effects of that adjustment layer, and bring these a little bit more, protect them from that adjustment. And now the vignette. So we add a new layer, Shift, Option, Command N if you like to learn those shortcuts. Otherwise, just click this little new layer icon and you get a new layer. I mean, Command Z. You notice, hey, Scotchko, you haven't renamed your layers. You're right. I'm busted. I didn't rename them, but you're smarter than me. You will rename them. All right, so the vignette. We're on it. We don't need a new layer. Okay, you learned a shortcut. I have no idea why I'm adding a layer, because it's an adjustment layer the way we're going to do it. There's lots of ways to do a vignette, and yes, you can add a layer and paint on it, and we're going to do it with curves. Okay, we're going to grab a curves layer and drag this center point down. I'm going to watch the image and drag it down, about that far, trying not to move that off that center point. And you might say, well, all you did was darken the whole image. Well, yeah, you're right. So how do we protect some parts of the image from being darkened? The mask, all right. So we need to know how big this image is. How big? Let's pull up the rulers, Command R. So now we can see 0 over to around 2300. And if we bring our crosshairs, do you see the crosshairs inside this circle? Because I have the rectangular marquee, I'm going to click and hold. If you have any of these others, make sure you have the rectangular marquee. And you see that M was the shortcut. I'm going to come in about right here. So looking up at my ruler, I can see I'm about 240 pixels in, 220 right there. And you can look down here and it's down 220. And yeah, that's just about right. Now, this vignette is going to be equidistant on all sides, or at least close to it. It doesn't always have to work that way. Now, with this right here, if I fill with black, remember, Option Delete fills with black. That's not what we're looking for. We're not looking for this hard edge here. So I'm going to undo that. And inside this, you might notice that this rectangular marquee has a feather option here. Don't use it. I used to do it this way, and then someone else said, hey, you have more control if you just click in here and choose feather inside. But the really great thing is that the next time you use the rectangular marquee, it's not going to remember whatever setting is here. The last time I used this, I used 100 pixels. Had I put 100 pixels up here, every time I tried to use the marquee, it would feather it. And it's one of those things where Photoshop remembers. So this is probably a good thing for us to use this. And we're going to have to, we're not going to have to, we're going to go ahead and select that 150 and say yes. So now we get this nice soft, this is showing us where 50% of the pixels are selected, and it feathers out towards 0 and towards 100 in either direction. So we have a selection here. We want to protect the inside area with black. So Option Delete protects that. Now if we hit Command D to deselect, can we see? If you can look at a picture and go, oh look, there's a vignette right there, then you've done it. Well, easy way to show it is just to go crazy here. Pull this way down, and you can kind of, well, this is a bad example because you really can't point exactly where that vignette is. The idea is you keep the light in here in the center and darken the outside. See that? How this picture is suddenly far more in focus. I don't really like it that dark. It seems a little extreme to me. And it's all seasoned to taste. What looks good to you? Now this is all non-destructive. We can come back and change all this stuff. The only thing that was really destructive, in a sense, was we rasterized this layer so it's not a smart object anymore. But my goodness, if we jump back over to Safari, from this picture to this picture. Now, I don't know about you, but again, this is interesting. This is worth looking at. And it's a picture of a dumpster and a couple of pipes that fire engines use if there's a fire. Yes, this is some kind of fire hydrant poking out of this hole. Two-headed snake. I love this picture, and I think it's very cool. And I hope you learned something in here. Photoshop's all about experimenting and having fun and looking for surprises. And yes, we could do 142 different things to this, but just remember, the picture you took may have another picture inside of it.